today we're going to talk about classical conditioning. So this happens no matter what's going on. It just occurs every day in normal life. So what happens is that animals learn that one thing precedes another. So it's called associative learning. So what happens is they know when you pick up their leash that they're actually going to be going outside, because rarely do we pick up leashes and not take the dog for a walk. Also, we rarely pop that can of tuna and don't give the cat a little bit. So they learn that one thing always precedes another. Very, very powerful stuff, because what typically precedes something? A habit. So we get into a habit where we know that certain things are going to happen. It makes our day go smoothly. The problem is that sometimes we can create bad habits that way. So with classical conditioning, we want to make sure that we're creating good habits through associations and trying to avoid the bad ones. One of the ones we might want to avoid, for instance, is the doorbell with dogs. Oftentimes, if we ring a doorbell, what happens? The dogs always know someone's going to come through that door, and they get very excited to see them. So they may run around, jump, bark, whine, whatever they might do. So in that situation, we might want to classically condition that the doorbell doesn't mean anything. There is no habit. There is no association. So we may ring the doorbell lots of times and nothing happens. So we don't avoid a classically conditioned behavior. But it can come in very handy. We can classically condition a dog to like people, so that when people show up, they always bring a good treat with them. Well, if people bring good treats, those people are pretty cool. They're not so bad. So always think about, if you're classically conditioning, if you want something to predict something else. If you do, then make that condition happen. That X always predicts Y. People always predict treats. Tuna cans always predict tuna. And leashes always predict a walk. And if you don't want it to happen, make sure a lot of things happen after the stimulus. Just like the doorbell, nothing really much happens. It's just a sound. They ignore it because it doesn't predict anything. So that's how you want to work your classical conditioning. Just make sure that it actually is something you want them to learn.